Welcome to VSB News Online for Thursday, July 9th. I'm Peter Cattell. Home Affairs Minister Michael Fay cannot understand why the opposition MP that accused him of treason in the House was not called to order, and why opposition senators should align themselves with such remarks.
I have heard reports of some of the language that was used in another place, and it would be funny if it was not so serious. There's two things, Madam President, that are so distasteful that you just wonder sometimes where we are as a country. For members of another place to say that someone else is acting in a treasonous fashion, I just can't believe they're not called to account for making those kinds of remarks. I was forwarded a blog on Saturday attached to the World Gazette, because I make a point of not wasting my time looking at blogs from anonymous posters and people who hide behind pseudonyms to make disparaging remarks. But in this particular one, this person identified themselves, and they said that, and this is a slight paraphrase, but the minister should be put in front of a firing squad. Now that's the kind of language we're dealing with out there, Madam President. And I wonder what the opposition's views are of those. We hear them talk about bloggers a lot in this place, and these things that get said. But when you see things like that, and they're not called to account, members of another place can continuously use language to say that there is treason, this activity, or words that affect, is just beyond absurd.
With the summer heat upon us and the lack of tank rain, water is in the news again, as householders experience shortages, compounding the rationing of water by suppliers. But Vice President and spokesman for the Bermuda Water Truckers Association, Russ Ford, says there is no need to panic, just conserve.
Right now, it is all about conservation, and persons must take the opportunity, first of all, to prepare ahead, check the tanks to make sure they got ample supply of water. The worst thing that you want to do is to wait to the final moment when you absolutely have no water and you're panicking and you're going to call a company, water truck company, and say, well, listen, I need water and I need it yesterday. It's not going to happen like that there. However, if you give them some lead time, a couple of days to a week or what have you, then they may be able to drop you 1 or 2 loads, which brings you to the next point. Don't expect that because you normally get 6 loads of water that you can get your 6. You may end up only with 2. So we're asking persons to be patient, to also make sure that they're looking at the best interests of the entire island, right? And just because you have money doesn't mean you can buy everything. You know, it's a saying that goes, you never miss the water to the well runs dry. Well, in this case, we don't want people to go dry and then have to miss the most precious commodity that we have on this earth, and particularly in Bermuda, which is water.
Now, for the people who very rarely look into their tanks, when they do, what should be their line to show that they're getting close to the danger zone?
Well, they should give themselves at least 2 feet of water in their tanks, right? Because they have footwells in the tanks. Some tanks have sumps and what have you. A lot of the other tanks don't. But they should be looking at least maintaining about 2 liters of water. But it also depends on what your usage is, because although you may have 2 liters of water, you may also have a lot of people in the household using a lot of water, or you may have people that are standing in the shower and allowing the water to run while they're soaping up. Those are the sort of things you need to look at. Recycle your water. If you got water in the tub, take it out. You can use it to flush the toilet with. The other thing that you have to be concerned about when it comes to water conservation is to make sure that your plumbing is up to par. A leaking toilet can drain your tank overnight. Right? So persons need to be concerned about the problem, leaving on faucets and what have you. They need to be very, very, very meticulous as it relates to any wastage of water.
Over 3,000 fewer vehicles have been registered in Bermuda over the past 10 years. And so the decision to allow up to 40 doctors at the hospitals to have a second car should not prove a problem. This was the assurance given in the Senate by Junior Transport Minister Senator Vic Ball to questions raised by independent Senator James Jardine.
This is quite a sweeping change by allowing doctors who are hired at the BHB to suddenly have a second car when they're not generally practicing practitioners. And I guess the next question is, why is there this sudden great need to have this done right away? As I say, Bermuda's roads are congested enough, and it just seemed to me that to be allowing the possibility, and I say the possibility because maybe not everybody will apply for it, the possibility of another 40 cars on the road when I'm not sure why there's suddenly a real need, is of some concern to me.
Concerning the extra 40 cars on the road as compared with the number of vehicles that are currently here, over the last number of years since the recession and people leaving the island, it's estimated that up to 3,000 vehicles have actually are no longer licensed. So these extra 40 vehicles are not going to add to any sort of congestion on the roads at all. And the Bermuda Hospital Board has been requesting this sort of information, this sort of second car legislation for quite some time. So this isn't something new, and we're just kind of meeting their request on this particular this particular point. And these sort of requests are specifically coming from those who do have families. So it's a little bit of an inconvenience for a doctor to get called out at night, and then the children have to go to school in the morning, and so it's just basically adding a little bit of convenience to the doctors that do good work done at the hospital, as well as just trying to make sensible legislation in order to attract good doctors to come to Bermuda.
Unemployment is up, but if you do have a job, chances are you're earning more and working fewer hours. Those are some of the statistics contained in the latest employment survey report for last year, released by government. Chris Lodge has been looking at the figures.
The Employment Survey report released by the Department of Statistics calculates the island's unemployment rate at 9%. That's a rise of 2% over 2013. Here are some of the main findings. The average working week shrank from 36 hours in 2013 to 33.3 hours last year. However, wages have risen. The median annual earnings before deductions now $63,897, and that's a rise of more than $3,000 year over year. The occupation with the most advertised vacancies was limousine and motor bus driver with 34. Vacancies for professional accountants and executive secretaries numbered 24 and 21 respectively. In terms of rankings, for men, the leading occupation last year was chef de partie or cook with 508 jobs, followed by managers with 440 and heavy truck drivers on 391. And for women, the leading occupation was executive secretary, personal assistant with 684 jobs, followed by senior clerk on 493 and cashier on 487. The largest percentage of summer students found employment in the retail, trade and repair sector last year, landing 115 jobs, followed by hotels and public administration, both providing 68 jobs for our summer students. I'm Chris Lodge, VSB News.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
At the Coalition for the Protection of Children, we believe that children are a gift. We all want to be able to give them all the time, nurturing, and financial support they need.
But raising kids today can be expensive.
You can spend more than $1,500 on diapers, $1,500 on baby food, and another $1,500 on formula. Why daycare can run you $9,000 to $10,000 a year. Then on to school uniforms for almost another $1,000, and we haven't even gotten to college yet. There are many options available for planning your family. The Coalition for the Protection of Children is there to help you decide, and don't worry about the expense of family planning. They are there to help you with that too. Just call or drop by their office anytime.
Potential visitors to Bermuda are in for an up-close and personal experience of the island through the 4th edition of Moon Bermuda, a guidebook offering the kind of unique under-the-hood look at Bermuda that no mass-market Bermuda guidebook ever could. Moon Bermuda offers, according to author Rosemary Jones, highlights of the real Bermuda.
A lot of it is what we as Bermudians know, the things that we like, the places we go to, either to eat or to relax or to swim. Until recently, I would say a lot of those have been quite off the beaten track in terms of being promoted. More and more now, I think different tour guides and the BTA and a lot of foreign media is discovering some of these treasures, which is great because I think it allows visitors to experience Bermuda the way we do. I would say more grassroots type little gems that we know about, places to eat, I mean, I think everyone knows Art Mel's sandwiches now. Those are great, but not so long ago he wasn't that well known. Little cafes in Somerset and St. George's, places to go swimming, that many people who just head to Horseshoe Bay might not know about. So.
Now, speaking of places to eat, this is a new book. So it's a new restaurant like Marcus's just opened. Were you able to include that?
I was. So I was very anxious to keep it as up to date for this coming season as possible. So I knew Marcus's was coming. I talked about some of the other renovations at the Princess and at some other properties. There were a lot of developments last year for hotel properties. And yes, I included Marcus's, although I hadn't been able to eat and actually review it at that point. But we included the America's Cup as well, which was a very late entry into the, as it was being proofed and edited. I made sure that got in.
Now, you also talk about romantic getaways. I'm a little beyond all that now, but how would you point the visitor to a romantic getaway?
Well, I think Bermuda's always been a place for newlyweds and people to come back and celebrate their anniversaries or, their weddings too, like the wedding business. A lot of people come here to get married. So I think it's a perfect place if you're a couple who want to, skip down from the East Coast and, as so many people say, it's as closer than going to the Hamptons or, many other destinations. But there's, beaches that you can go to that no one's on, that you can have a beach to yourself.
As a footnote to our interview with Tim Marshall, the new president of the Bermuda National Trust, we asked him if the government's decision to end its funding of the trust a few years ago had created any serious pressures for the environmental group.
It's unfortunate. A lot of charities have been affected by the economic difficulties that we have faced in Bermuda. And government, regrettably, has cut off funding to a lot of charities just simply because they do not have the resources to do it anymore. That has really meant that we have had to tighten our belt over the last 4 years. We are fortunate because of the great support of the public that we have come out fine. We are a financially strong charity. We certainly do need that continued support to fill in the gaps that are there as a result of the lack of government funding. And we are going to do our best, not only in terms of raising money and the profile of the trust, but demonstrating to the public that, yes, this is a good charity that we should be putting our time and energy behind, not only in terms of our donations, but in terms of giving back to the community by donating a weekend for replanting some of our important tracts of open space, taking down casuarinas that need to be taken down across the island and replanted with a Bermuda cedar tree or a palmetto. These are all things that we can get behind in Bermuda.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
St. George's Cricket Club President Neil Painter has confirmed that the grounds at the Wellington Oval are ahead of schedule for the 2015 annual Cup Match Classic.
Well, as you said, we are well ahead of the game. We've been very fortunate to have some members who've come out early this year, as well as assistants from the Department of Corrections. So we are on schedule, actually ahead of schedule, but we don't want to get too complacent. So we're in our last few days, but very pleased with how preparations are going.
Now, there's always a lot of talk about preparations for Cup Match and how things are going. How has the sales of all the spots gone thus far, and are there any available?
Well, we've had an extensive waiting list. We actually have 2 more available, which we have a waiting list, so we'll be contacting them today, but we foresee all of them being going at Cup Match, all of them.
What are you anticipating this Cup Match from a club standpoint?
Well, if we get 2 great days, we're expecting our club, along with the assistants with Sumter, to put on a great spectacle. We're inviting everyone to come down here to enjoy themselves, and we're just looking to put on a show and show Bermuda that St. George's Cricket Club knows how to host the rest of the island.
Year about, it's been 3 years since St. George's won it. We could all go back to 2005 when it appeared that St. George's had no chance of winning the cup, and it would, on the field side, it would look the same way this time around. It appears that St. George's players are not in form. Somerset have a young team, as St. George's did years ago. But what do you say to those naysayers?
Deja vu. I'm looking at 2005 all over again, and if some want to be complacent, then that works in our favor. All I'm asking is that my players come out and give 110% for the club, for the community, and for everyone else in Bermuda.
Obviously, St. George's have to go at Somerset, and I know you and Mabry have a good relationship going. What's that battle like up on the porch between the 2 presidents as the teams battle out on the field?
Well, we have a lot of banter, but I just tell Mr. Mabry that it's your turn. You have the cup, and I can't say anything, but when it's my turn, I'm coming from the boundary, fully paced, and a lot of seam, and coming right at him.
Micah Thomas Rayner, Adam Larson, Felix Cutler, Tate Stefanuk, Joe Arrowsmith, and Luke Medeiros all continued representing Bermuda at the Optimus North American Championships going on in Antigua. After 6 races, Stefanuk is 18th overall with 40 net points. Arrowsmith is 42nd with 75 points. Larson is in 51st overall with 84 points. Cutler finished the day 78th overall with 115 net points, while Thomas Rayner is in 89th place with 130 points. Medeiros has 188 net points and is in 128th, while Atamati is in 134th with 193 net points. 31 boats went to the start line for race day 11 of the Wednesday night sailing series that begins and ends in the Hamilton Harbor. Crossfire crossed the line first with a time of 1:08.18 and with their corrected time of 1:14.55, saw them finish 3rd on the night. Cyclone was the second boat to cross the line. They clocked a time of 1:18.24 and their corrected time of 1:21.06, saw them finish 14th on the night. The third boat to cross the line on the night was Mayhem, clocking 1:19.51, and with their corrected time of 1:14.52, saw them finish 2nd on the night. Smokin' was first on the night with a corrected time of 1:14.28 after recording a time of 1:20.33, while Man O'War finished 4th on the night with a corrected time of 1:15.23. Fat Tuesdays finished 5th with a corrected time of 1:16.50. Turning to tennis in the boys' singles quarterfinals of the Bermuda Lawn Tennis Association's Junior Open going on at the W.E.R. Joe Tennis Stadium, Luke Sterling defeated Nicholas Cooper in straight sets, 6-love, 6-1. Trey Mallory defeated Daniel Marshall in straight sets, 6-3, 6-3. And David Leader needed 3 sets to defeat Benjamin Lines, 4-6, 6-2, 7-6. Dylan Powell defeated Scott Redmond, 6-3, 6-1. In boys' 12 singles round-robin action, Kiro Morton defeated Connor O'Keefe 7-6, 6-4, while in the boys' 14 singles quarterfinals, Benjamin Lines defeated Connor O'Keefe 6-2, 6-2. Nicholas Cooper got by Jair Salam Lawrence 6-3, 6-3, while Scott Redmond defeated Max Marshall 6-love, 6-2, and Benjamin Jones defeated Kiro Morton 6-1, 6-1. Lamech FC could add to their goalkeeping options by adding Bermuda international Freddie Hall. Freddie Hall has been training with the squad this week ahead of this week's crucial SSE League Premier Division game against Galloway United. Hall was released by AFC Telford at the end of last season and has also spent time with Oxford City last year. Limerick manager Martin Russell is quoted as saying, "Freddie has just come in. He seems a good character and a good goalkeeper. We will see how it goes," end quote. Well, FIFA has banned former executive committee member and ex-CONCACAF General Secretary Chuck Blazer from all football-related activities for life. Blazer worked undercover with prosecutors in the United States after pleading guilty to charges of bribery, money laundering, and tax evasion. A FIFA statement said Blazer committed many and various acts of misconduct to bring out the FIFA corruption scandal. The Bermuda Under-19 boys rugby squad headed off to Orlando to compete in the 2015 Under-19 Caribbean Rugby Championships. After winning promotion last year to the top tier of the Under-19 division, coach Christopher Stafford has been preparing the squad for the challenge ahead. He is quoted as saying, "We've been working hard as a group for quite some time, and off the back of a strong domestic school season with the Ariel Reed High School League and with a number of players having been a part of the Under-17 squad who played in the UK in March this year, we're excited to get over to Orlando to play." I'm Earl Baston reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Friday, July 10th, there will be sunny periods with 1 or 2 showers, a few showers by evening. Winds will be westerly and light, increasing light to moderate by noon, backing west-southwesterly moderate late night. The high will be near 86 Fahrenheit, the low near 79 Fahrenheit. This weather report is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thank you for watching VSB News online for Thursday, July 9th. I'm Peter Cattell.